Prey's premise is a result of a universe where John F. Kennedy wasn't assassinated and the US put more effort into its space program. It takes place in 2032 aboard the Talos 1, a sprawling space station orbiting the moon, as you take on the role of a scientist named Morgan Yu. You quickly realize that you've been reliving the same day over and over again as a result of an experiment gone wrong. Worse still, aliens known as the Typhon have overrun the station, and it's up to you to put a stop to them as well as discover your past. Along the way, you'll discover neuromods. These restructure the human brain, allowing for superhuman abilities. The early mods you get are fairly simple. They increase your health or hacking skills. But as you progress, you'll find over-the-top options such as being able to cobble together allies from corpses, create decoys of yourself while shifting behind your target, or taking the form of objects around you to get to hard-to-reach areas or to hide from foes. Apart from this, you also have a number of weapons that can be used. This starts with a humble wrench and goes up to the Q-beam, which obliterates everything in sight. There's a lot of variety, but for most part though, we stuck to the shotgun and silenced pistol. More exotic choices such as the recycler charge, which lets you create mini black holes and turns foes into materials that you can craft into items like ammo and health packs, were reserved for tougher firefights. The controls are accessible without much of a learning curve, which is good as you can focus on dealing with the dangers aboard the Talos 1, such as the many Typhon infesting the space station. As you explore the Talos 1, you'll visit dilapidated offices, cold dark server rooms, and engineering labs. The various spaces all have a lived-in feel to them. You'll find computers to rummage through for emails, maps, and schematics, and there are audio logs that help you piece together what happened. One complaint we have with Prey is its over-reliance on jump scares, a thing that's also often used in horror movies, where your enemies will abruptly jump out of nowhere, often with blaring music as well. This is particularly common with the mimics, enemies who hide in plain sight and take the shape of an item like a cup of coffee in an office. Jump scares occur way too often for our liking in Prey, wearing out their welcome after the first couple of hours, and they continue to be annoying well after that. Prey does make up for this to some extent with its stellar visual design. There are some similarities to the Art Deco aesthetic seen in Bioshock, but it works just as well here. From a technical standpoint, Prey does a good job. The frame rate holds up well on the PS4 Pro, the graphics are consistent with no texture pop-in, and the game loads in a reasonable amount of time with no stutter in play. Considering that it uses the CryEngine instead of Arcane's own tech, it's surprisingly well optimized. That's a pleasant surprise considering the issues we saw on consoles with Sniper Ghost Warrior 3, which also runs the same engine. None of Prey's elements stand out on their own, but they work well in cohesion. Progressing through the game's story was a treat. Without spoiling much, there are a fair number of plot twists that keep you engaged. This is backed up with slick controls, responsive gunplay, cool neuromods, and stellar level design. Clocking in at 20 hours, Prey is well worth checking out even if you're not a fan of horror or sci-fi. It might not be wholly original, but that doesn't make it any less fun. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Gadgets360.